Hey guys, welcome back for another in-depth character review. This time we are looking at Medusa. So, yeah, Medusa has featured in 2 of our top 4 games in the online league and has made quite an impact in both, so I thought I would use her for my next character breakdown. Shout out to Benjamin Rogers. He asked for in one of the comments in one of the previous videos, or in the previous video. And next on deck will be Modok, which I know a few of you are really hunting for that. As usual, I'll be going over, well, soon to be as usual, I'll be going over who Medusa is, well, not who she is, who she's strong against and why, who she's weak against and why. I'll also be going over who she synergizes really well with and why. So some people have been asking questions, like she seems to be popping up a lot, and hopefully I can help you out with that. So to start with, I'll just go over a card real quick, which you got here. So just make it a little bit bigger for you if you're watching on your phone. 6 health, medium mover, size 2. She costs 4 threat, 3/3/3 in defense. She has a Braid Bash, which is range 3, 5 dice. It's her power builder, so it gains power for damage dealt. It can push size 3 or less in any direction, which is incredibly powerful. And it has a flurry, and those two have the same time that they occur, so you can dictate what they happen, which direction they happen in. So you can attack, flurry, and then double push. This is the attack that really makes her god tier. Her split ends attack is decent, doesn't really come up too much, but 7 dice, 6 power, really expensive, area 2. You can displace a lot of characters with this if you do need to, and it has a bleed on it. She has hair flip, which is her first superpower. Choose an enemy character of size 3 or less within 3, which is very powerful, and throw it small. Nothing wrong with that, it's great. Size 3 is pretty key, and it's enemy characters only, so she can actually do quite a lot of damage with this. Her Royal Decree is one of her, or is her movement shenanigans, so this is what makes her very powerful. Choose another allied character within 2 of this character, place this character within 1 of the chosen character, or place the chosen character within 1 of this character. So you can start like a chain. She teleports, then she teleports them, etc, etc. What's interesting with this one is you can actually do it off of dazed characters. A lot of people don't know that. So you can really do some cool stuff with this. She has Inhuman, which is a reroll in attack and defense. She has Living Strands, like Angela we covered last time. You can't place the movement tool overlapping this character's base when advancing or climbing, and that's enemy characters only. And enemy characters cannot reroll or change attack die when targeting this character with attacks. And immune to poison. So very, very, very powerful. So with that in mind, we'll get into it. So just doing the same thing as last week, still getting some editing software up and running, so just wanted to keep some momentum going here. So to start with, we have what she's strong against, what she's weak against, and what she synergizes well with. So you can see we've already got them there. There is some honorable mentions floating around as well, which we'll go over at the end. Right, number 1, Enchantress. She's strong here because of her Braid Bash attack and the flurry that comes with it. So this attack is the best, and I say this like absolute honesty here, it's the best power builder in the game. There is nothing better than it currently. There's a few that come close. Corvus with his Pierce and Reality Stone comes pretty close, but this one takes the crown. So because of this, she has ample power because she continually flurries into her. As long as things are going your way with dice, you have ample power to continually reduce Enchantress's defenses. So because of that, you can really smash her down quickly. And you also have the throw as well. Number 2, we have Valkyrie. Her Living Strand superpower, this is Medusa, stops characters from re-rolling dice or changing dice against her. So Valkyrie's Warrior of Legend superpower, no bueno, it's off. So Valkyrie's dice consistency superpower which is one of the things she's very powerful for. Just it doesn't work against Medusa, so you can consistently go against her. Valkyrie is very popular, second most popular character in the game, so it's a good pick bringing Medusa if you're pretty sure you're going to be versing her. Number 3, Mystique. And by proxy, really any of the martial artist characters, Okoye, Black Widow, those kinds of characters. Her Braid Bash attack is actually range 3. So because of this, you can sit comfortably outside of martial artist range, which is range 2, which means that these characters, their defensive mods and like counting blanks to success doesn't count. So you can consistently bring them down quickly instead of having to waste extra attacks into them. Number 4, Doctor Strange. Same thing, her Braid Bash is going to be the reason that she's strong here. Doctor Strange's physical defense is good when he can continually pay for his adding of dice to it. And because Medusa has Flurry, she can actually overwhelm him and power starve him with the attacks. So you can actually wait until he's power starved and then try to spike your damage up and see if you can bring him down. Yes, that's it for Doctor Strange. And lastly, poor old Venom. Now, Venom's a lot of people's favorite characters. There's a lot of people that don't want to leave him at home. Because Medusa is in the meta and she is really strongly in the meta, I would recommend leaving him at home currently. The timing chart for our attacks and defense means that when she performs her attack, her Braid Bash and Flurry and pushes, they all occur before Venom can do his so many snacks. So if you do it correctly, you push him out of range and he doesn't get to do his retaliation. So Venom, I think, will struggle in a Medusa meta. Sorry, just had a weird background noise. So with that in mind, probably good if you're playing Web Warriors or anything like that, you might want to leave Venom at home if possible, bring in Daredevil. But yeah, that's the reason why I would leave it there. So moving into who she is weak against, and no doubt this is the section you're all waiting for because you're watching this video not to see what she's good at getting rid of, you're watching it to see how do I get rid of her. So number 1, good old Corvus Corvus. He is probably your best bet at anti-Medusa tech because of his Glaive's Edge, counting blanks as success. It actually gets around her Living Ribbons superpower. So because of this, you can put some really high, consistent burst damage into Medusa to just get her onto her injured side and hopefully remove her from the board. Number 2 is Loki. Similar reasons to Corvus, his I'm a God superpower enables him to count blanks as success in offense and defense, so he can burst her down with this. His superpower attacks also combines with this to make her teleport, cost additional power, so you can slow her down and stop her convoy that she likes to build up around her. You can stop that from happening, so you can really limit her movement shenanigans that she has going on. Number 3, we have Magneto. This one's nice and easy. You throw everything you have at her. Yes, you lose your rerolls and attack against her because of her living strands, but with the extra additional continuous throws that Magneto can throw into her, you can very quickly burst her down. And her rerolls for her Inhuman superpower is not for dodge dice. So throwing at things at her is a very easy way of bringing her down, and Magneto is king. Now, some of you are looking at my weak against chart here, and this is not a typo, you do see a Ghost Rider. So a few people might think that I'm a little bit crazy here, but he's actually really decent into her. His Mystic attack is massive when timed right, and his superpower that deals damage for each critical result rolled in an attack against his teammates can really smash her down. Because she's continually attacking with Flurry and additional attacks all in single turns, if you place Ghost Rider in the correct faction, like Avengers or A-Force, where there are ample bodyguards, you can really have some fun ways and different ways of bringing her down. She can basically just kill herself if a Ghost Rider has the right people around him. Yeah, and lastly, Morgan pointed this one out to me. Good old Vision. Vision used to be one of the best 4-pointers in the game. He's still top 5, I think, but he's fallen by the wayside a little bit. He's collecting a little bit of dust, but he definitely can brush it off at this point. So he's got 5 defense dice against her. Really nice. He also is immune to bleed, which is on her spender attack. And while he is on his dense side, he cannot be pushed. So the biggest strength, apart from her flurry in her braid bash, is to push in any directions, and he can't be pushed. So if they match up on a flank together, Vision can really go toe-to-toe with her, and I would actually rate him to finish her off quicker than she can do it to him because of his Synthezoid Avenger. He can really burst her down with that. Honourable mentions that she's weak against is Black Panther and Daredevil, solely because they count blanks as success at all ranges in defense against her, so they can be difficult for her to deal with, especially if they're rolling decently well. So with those done, I can now talk about Medusa and who she synergizes well with. So we'll start with Lockjaw. Lockjaw is your obvious pick. They can teleport off each other, so he can teleport her, she can teleport him, then she can teleport off him again, and you can really cover, like, I think it's over range 5 without actually having to use a movement action. So you can really get Medusa into a position where she can do the most amount of damage. And you can do that almost on the first turn with the right tactics cards. Lockjaw can also enable her to get additional attack dice with his superpower. I forget what it's called, but he can, for an entire round, all of his allied characters, or including himself, can roll additional attack dice into a specific character. So if you need to remove somebody, Medusa makes really great use of this because it's 4 additional attack dice if you roll the wilds. Next up, we got Wakanda. So she's in Black Panther for that. She's really powerful in Wakanda because of her Braid Bash being able to push in any direction. So she doubles down with Shuri and Black Panther at being a really powerful control piece for an objective list. She also is really strong here because of her own rerolls within her Inhuman superpower, combining with Wakanda rerolls, combining with Shuri rerolls. So you can really just feel like a god with her attacks here because you're just continually fishing for the results you want, because don't forget, you can reroll a reroll as long as it's from a different source, and you can do this multiple times. So she can do it 3 times in this faction in particular. Really powerful. Next up, we have A-Force, so She-Hulk. She's a great home here. They can feed her power for her teleports, and she can teleport She-Hulk around with her to use her as protection with her bodyguard. And this can be quite daunting if you're on the receiving end of this, because they both hit quite hard. They're both fairly tanky between the bodyguard and Medusa's natural tankiness. You can feel like you're only doing chip damage while they're doing big lump sums of damage into you. So something to watch out for. She counts towards affiliation here as well, which means she isn't a splash character like in Wakanda. So Wakanda, you have to take 3 Wakandans plus Medusa. A-Force, she can be one of your starting pieces. If not, and you don't want to take She-Hulk, you can take a leaderless A-Force and she still counts here. Lastly, X-Men, specifically under Storm's leadership. The cover is really nice to have because she's attacking from outside of range 2, so she can make good use of this if you work it correctly. Which can make her even more tanky with the reroll and the not being able to modify your dice against her. Plus, the free teleport that Storm's leadership gives you once per round, you can actually set up a really nice convoy with Medusa's teleports to set up just like 2 characters going with her around the board, and all 3 of them aren't having to use movement actions, so you can get a bit of an artillery piece, a mobile artillery piece here. If you want to see this in action, I highly recommend you go and watch Sploosh's game against Travis in the top 16. Sploosh did this it was unbelievable to watch. Like, it was really difficult for Travis to deal with. He ended up smashing a Black Panther on the second turn, which generally never happens. So I'll link that in the description. I really recommend you go and watch this because it's really interesting seeing Medusa inside of this leadership and how powerful it can be when she can bring a lot of friends with her here. So finally, we're going to hit the tactics cards. So they are fairly self-explanatory, but I'll go over them. So I'll just scroll down here. So we're going to start with these four. Bitter Rivals is number one. Okay, so it comes with the Inhumans. Really great card. It's only 3 power, so she can typically spend this. Although you don't really want to spend it off her. You typically want to activate her and spend the power off of somebody else. Bitter Rivals is exceptional because it has no range on it. It can be cast from one corner of the board to the other corner of the board, and you're just picking the best clump of enemy characters to make the best use of this. So it's great for attack and it's great for defense. Your enemies roll less attack dice. I'll make it a bit bigger for you. Your enemies roll less attack dice. So when you combine this with her Living Strands, which is the defensive buff that she gives herself where you can't re-roll or change defense dice against her, she can feel extremely tanky here. And then vice versa, when you are attacking enemy characters, they roll less defense dice. So when you combine that with her flurries and 4 attacks a turn, she can really do a lot of damage here and potentially wipe 2 characters from the board, which we've all seen it. If you're watching this, it means that you're having trouble with Medusa. You've been on the receiving end of this. So it's something to watch out for, is Bitter Rivals with her. This one's a nice easy one, Advanced R&D. Solely, it enables turn 1 teleport. So she can get in position quickly to make use of her Braid Bash and pushing you around. So it's fairly self-explanatory there. All you've got, I'll ask you a question. What is better than 4 attacks? 8 attacks. That's right, 8. If things go her way and she rolls the wilds where required, she can attack 8 times with teleports in between all of these to reposition and put the damage where required. If you see a Medusa and there is an all you've got on the other side of the table, you need to be extremely careful of this because it can come out of nowhere and be catastrophic to your win chances. Not lastly, there is another 2 I want to go over, but this is the last one that individually works with here. Synergises, if I'm saying that correctly, I'm sorry if I butchered it. I'll read it out because not a lot of people have seen this one before. So any Inhuman character may spend 3 to play this card. Choose an enemy character holding a civilian token within 3 of this character and roll 4 dice. Deal 1 damage to the enemy character for each crit, wild, and hit rolled. If the enemy character is dazed or KO'd by this damage, you score 2 VPs. So this is excellent with Medusa. She can generate the 3 power easily. She's an Inhuman. And because this also counts hits, the chances of this are actually pretty decent if you time it correctly to get 2, maybe even 3 damage through to enable the daze or KO. So you add this onto her 4 attacks and she can score VPs out of turn and do some serious burst damage into some quite tanky characters because there's no option to roll defense dice against this card. So really nasty card. Utility Cookie, big shout out here. He's the one that clued me onto this. Really powerful when paired with Medusa because you can always interrupt your own attacks when they get down to 1 health, for example, and play this card. You don't have to do all the flurries, etc., etc. But they do enable you to make use of this card. Sliding over, one that people have probably forgotten about because drop-off is banned, but this card is essentially drop-off. These 2 will always come as a pair. So if you see this across the table and they are playing A-Force, you really need to be careful turn 2 or possibly turn 3 if they use it late. Rocket Boots is the first card you play. You play the Rocket Boots first to give her flight. I'll bring it up for you. Then she can drop off She-Hulk with the special delivery card. So normally not a character that can use special delivery, but with rocket boots, she can. So something to watch out for. The worst part is that once she does this, she does her movement action, She-Hulk then appears in front. She-Hulk then performs an attack. Medusa can then teleport off of She-Hulk if she has the power. This is all theoretical here. If not, she can do her range 3 attack, which is already an extremely long distance, and set up a serious amount of damage, combined with a enemy She-Hulk now being dropped into your lines. So something to watch out for. Really powerful wombo combo, and I would expect with how popular A-Force is and how popular Medusa is now getting, you might see this on the other side of the table. So you need to be careful about this. It can do a serious amount of damage. The original OG of this, which was Rocket Boots and Drop Off, I have been on the receiving end of a Corvus Proxima, which is the reason it was banned, that dazed 4 out of 5 of my characters on turn 2. I started the turn dazed and they took all the objectives and ran away. It's a terrible feeling. It's horrific to be on the receiving end of it. Something to watch out for. This isn't as bad as that, but it's pretty close. So, a little overview of here, what we've got for the tactics cards and the card to finish it up. So this wraps us up here, guys, for this week's in-depth character look into Medusa, which is the one that was being requested the most. I hope this helps you and you learn a few things. These are just some of the combos that I've seen while commentating and playing over this past month since she's been released, and especially when I'm doing those top cut games, you can see some really nice plays with her. Check out Travis's games in particular. He makes a lot of use of Lockjaw and Medusa in his last 2 games in particular. But yeah, she's really strong, worth putting into your roster, or at least worth thinking about how you're going to deal with her moving into future leagues, tournaments, whatever you're doing. But that's it from me, guys. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next stream or video or wherever you are watching me. Peace out, guys.